Welcome to the Ultimate Tolkien Tournament. This is Middle-earth Madness. Yes, now welcome back everybody to the Chamber of Death. We are back for another night of the Third Age Throwdown. We are still waiting on some panelists to join us tonight. Hope everyone's having a good Friday, but we have 4 new fights for you guys. Bard against Samwise. Cirdan against Quickbeam, 2 new characters squaring off in that one. Azog against Faramir, and then Farmer Maggot, new guy also, against Prince Imrahil of Dol Amroth. So, yeah, this is the Mordor region. Last night, if you follow me, we completed the first round of the Rohan region. And again, if you missed any of those fights, they are all up on YouTube. Our YouTube page. Go check them out. Yeah, I guess spoiler alert. Because you're seeing the results of those fights right here. But yeah, we'll do a quick update. Earmuffs, if you want to go check out those fights first, I guess leave this live stream. Go do that if you want. Otherwise, check this out. Last night, the Battle White slew Peregrine Took and advance to take on Gandalf. So this will be the next round matchup, our 11 against our 1. The Battle White didn't mess around. The unquiet spirit haunting the standing stones of the North Downs executed a perfect game against Peregrine Took. So impressive job there. And then in what we thought was going to be our match of the night, just because they were the 2 highest seeded challengers, Elladan, again, pretty much took care of business against the Watcher in the Water. And so Elladan will advance to take on Gimli, our 4 seed. So yeah, Elladan, the slightly more emo of Elrond's twin sons, the half-elven ranger of Eriador, and a member of the Grey Company with Aragorn, will take on another member of the Fellowship, that being Gimli, the dwarf. So cool matchup right there. Yeah, then Balin dismantled Shelob in this matchup. He again, I think, executed a perfect game. Now this was a longer fight. Excuse me. But yeah, in the end, he didn't take any damage from the spider, and he ended up landing a death stroke to take out Shelob. So he will take on Galadriel in the second round. Little dwarf elf clash for you there. Not bad. And then lastly, Frodo took out Ugluk, the Uruk-hai, to advance to the second round, where he will meet the Witch King of Angmar. It's going to be 0 fun for our favorite hobbit there. So yeah, quick recap. And again, tonight we move down here to the Mordor region. And to lead things off, we have Bard against Samwise. Should be a fun matchup there. So bear with me 1 second, since our panel's not with us. I will launch our first fight of the night. We have Bard taking on Sam. Queuing up the old battle engine for you here. All right. Let me share screen on this guy. Yes. So, First battle of the night. What say you, Battle Engine, about what we can expect in this one? The Battle Engine isn't smart enough to talk back, but I'll talk for it. How about that? Flying solo tonight, guys. All right, so Bard prefers to use ranged combat. That's obvious. He is not very good at melee. That's actually being generous. He pretty much sucks at melee. But he is pretty fell with his bow. All right, so he's going to stick to using the bow. And Sam is going to stick to ranged combat also, trying to chunk rocks. That's an interesting call because if you look at Sam here, his striking, yeah, it's not that hot with the barrow white blade, only 54. His ferocity also not good. So hunking rocks probably his best chance to make some noise in this one. He's got 88 valor. You know, if you're looking for Sam's strengths, he's the blue line on the graph here. His strengths are big dexterity advantage, big stamina advantage, smaller spirit advantage, valor advantage, and elusiveness. Okay. Whereas Bard, slightly higher seed, but his advantages are fewer but greater. Not fewer but greater. Fewer but more magnitude here. So piercing for his ranged attack, basically. His accuracy is excellent. So he's got 85 accuracy, not great piercing, 68. Which means he's going to hit you in all likelihood because it's going to be his accuracy against Sam's dexterity. Well, now that I say that, they actually kind of are, they're pretty even. So we'll put it this way. If Bard can hit Sam in this one, again, pretty tough match there. It's going to be pretty much 50-50 on the dice rolls. But if he can hit, he will do some damage. Now, the damage isn't going to be as much as some of the other elite archers because it's only 68 value over here. What else? Bard has more advantages in this one, as we said. But the overall talents, again, as you'd expect from, an 11-12, or really all of our play-in fights like this in the play-in round, they're going to be very even. The overall talents are going to be pretty even. All right. So, what say you? Who you like in this one? Drop it in the comments. And without further ado, let us fight. In the first fight of the second round, the first fight of the first round, easy for me to say. In the play-in round, we have Bard of Laketown against Samwise Gamgee. Let us fight. All right, Sam goes for the barrel white blade, but fails to hit. Bard coming back with a bow shot. Also misses. And they're off. All right. What happened to my battle engineer? Sorry, guys. All right. We're back. Sam attacks. Engages. Can't hit. Bard comes back. Hits. Wounds. Tink. Minimal damage. Sam comes back and scores a hit, but no damage. Bard, another shot with the bow, misses. Sam hits and wounds! Slight damage with a rock throw, and they're very even through 7 rounds. Bard hits, no damage. Sam cannot engage. Bard engages, no damage. A hit, a wound by Sam again, only slight, because he's chunking rocks. Bard shoots, misses. Sam comes back, and they're dancing. Oh, another hit, but only slight. That wily hobbit rolls out of the way, perhaps. Sam chunks rocks, hits, no damage. Bard comes back, hits. Wounds heavily hewn. He got an arrow in the hobbit. Big disadvantage to Samwise going into the 17th round. Can he even the fight? Engages, no hits. A hit, but no damage. And for those of you new to this, look at the colorful bars at the top of the screen. It's sort of, by color coding it, tells you what's going on. More on that between fights here. Let's finish this one. Okay, they're going back and forth. Another hit by Sam, no damage. A shot by Bard. Tink! Tink! A hit, again, but no damage. Sam he's hanging in there. Another shot by Bard, no damage. Seems to be the story of the fight. They're engaging from range, they're hitting, but neither one is doing much damage. Minus the one arrow that Bard was able to land earlier. So through 30 rounds, another hit. Slight hit by Bard, slight damage. Tink! Alright, Samwise, you're due to land a hit and do some damage. Hit! Wound! Slight smite! And right on cue. The Hobbit evens the fight a little more. Still advantage to Bard into 32 rounds. Back and forth they go. Hit, no damage. Engagement, no hit. Hit, but no damage. Hit, wounds, only slight damage. Sam comes back. Still chunking rocks, not doing much damage. I'm a little surprised Bard isn't doing more damage with his bow. His piercing value just isn't that great compared to the Hobbit's elusiveness. Back and forth. A hit, a wound, slight smite, and Sam is dangling just by a thread of life. Can he hit any wound? It's among his last chances. Samwise hits, no damage. Bard comes back, hits, wounds. Oh, but not enough. 0.23 life left to Samwise Gamgee. He's hanging in because you're never out of the fight. Sam hits and wounds. Not enough damage. Gonna take more than that. People who joined us for the March Madness style tournament back in March for the Ultimate Tolkien tournament are now thinking of Luthien hanging in there by 0.07 damage and almost winning a fight against, I forget who, Fingolfin or someone like that. Back and forth they go, approaching 50 rounds. This is a hell of a fight. Damage! And this is it for Bard. Slain! And Bard wins. So there you have it, ladies and gents. One fight in the books for this evening. So Bard will advance. Let's have a look at who he will take on in the next round. Pull up the old bracket, huh? Bard will advance in this matchup to take on Sauron. Have fun with that, Lake Town. So yeah, nice 50-round fight to start things off tonight. For those of you tuning in, new folks, I guess, we usually have a full panel on this show, and I'm flying solo tonight, mostly because of all the storms you might have heard about in Houston. People still don't have power down there, and two of my co-founders are down there in H-Town. So thoughts going out tonight to Houston, all you guys, really in the whole Southeast Texas region. Weird stuff going on down there. That my understanding is it wasn't tornadoes, but then they behave very much like tornadoes and ripped the glass out of skyscrapers and all that tornadic type stuff. So yeah, hope everyone down there is doing okay, and hopefully the power comes back on soon. It's not fun to be in Gulf Coast weather with no air conditioning. I know it sounds like first world problems, but it's actually pretty dangerous, at least for a prolonged time, not to mention annoying. Like you can't sleep when it's 90 and humid and you don't have air conditioning. So I guess shout out to the Comanche Indians who did that crap for thousands of years before Europeans showed up. But yeah, speaking as a Northern European, that crap's for the birds, man. I can't sleep in humid temperatures. So with all of that nonsense. Who is fighting next tonight? Yes, perhaps the fight of the night here. We have Cirdan against Quickbeam. So Cirdan, these are both new characters, and by new, I mean they did not fight in our Ultimate Tolkien tournament back in March. So Cirdan, the shipwright, is... Well, he originally, in the first age, this is one of those characters that goes through all 3 ages of Middle-earth. He, in the first age, was one of the subjects, I guess you could say, of Elu Thingol and Menegroth. And so the kingdom of Doriath in the first age for you Silmarillion fans. Like Celeborn, like Mablung, like Beleg Strongbow, like, Luthien herself. All Sindarin elves from Menegroth. But the different thing about Cirdan is he had a good relationship, let's say, with Ulmo and with Osse, the Valar and the Maiar of the sea. So from an early age, by elven terms at least, he found himself drawn to the sea, and he started a people on the coast called the Falathrim. So the elves of the Falas. And so he from a very early time was a mariner of great renown as time went on. And he engaged in a few what you might think of as special ops missions. Like he's basically a Navy SEAL elf, right? He's the guy, or for you Brits out there, the Special Boat Service. He would lead the Marines, if you will, or the frogmen from the boats onto the shore and bail out larger contingencies of the elven armies in all these different conflicts. Again, throughout 3 ages of Middle-earth. Mostly by the time the 3rd age rolls around, though, Cirdan is in the Grey Havens, not doing much, right? Enjoying his quasi-retirement. So, in the 2nd age, as this Amazon show is probably going to show us here pretty soon, I've heard he's going to be on the show. Can't tell you that I'll be watching the show because, not a fan. That's no secret if you've tuned in with us before. But that being said, the story of the 2nd age, if they actually plan to tell it and stop dilly-dallying with hobbits and stuff that doesn't matter to the telling of the story, then Cirdan again is going to be one of the central figures because, as you can tell by his mugshot there, he was one of the keepers of the 3 original Rings of Power. And he was the keeper of Nadia, the Ring of Fire that ended up going to Gandalf in the story that most of us are more familiar with, right? Gandalf being the user of that ring in the War of the Ring, when he came back as Gandalf the White. Okay. When he came back through the Grey Havens in his new form as Gandalf the White, and Cirdan said, "Yeah, you're going to need this more than me," and he hands him Nadia. Good call, right? Or else, Cirdan just keeps a magic ring in the Grey Havens and does nothing until maybe ultimately, if Sauron would have done stuff differently, or if Saruman would have won, maybe ultimately they invade the Grey Havens, and who knows what happens at that point. Maybe Cirdan ends up having to use it. But for the purposes of these fights now, Cirdan is the keeper of Nadia, and that is his ranged weapon, which becomes pretty gnarly. So that's why he is a 5 seed, a decent seed. You could argue that he could have been a 4 seed, but we gave, the tiebreak to the heroes that had already fought in the March tournament. So a little bit of carryover and continuity from that earlier tournament. And so Gwaihir and the other 4 seeds sort of beat Cirdan out on that. But his stats are definitely solid for 4-5 seed territory. So, let's check out the stats here. The stats that will drive the fight. So here's what we're talking about. Cirdan against Quickbeam. I haven't given Quickbeam really a proper introduction yet, but Quickbeam, if you recall, mostly in the Two Towers, is the hasty int of Fanghorn, the youngest, hastiest int of Treebeards, also known as Fanghorn himself.
Don't be hasty now.
Yes, welcome, Chucky.
Hello.
Don't be hasty in joining the stream, Chucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quickbeam was the hasty int, though. He was good friends with Merry and Pippin. He was kind of their babysitter throughout the long ass time that it took to do the int moot, where they were, picking their route or whatever ints do, trying to decide if they were going to go to war. Right. Meanwhile, Quickbeam's job was to keep Merry and Pippin out of trouble, and he did that, and then ultimately went to war and helped wreck Orthanc and flood Isengard in that epic siege of Isengard. So that's Quickbeam. Chucky, how you doing, man? You got power back on?
Yeah, have power. I have a new office door. Well, kind of. It's not done. But anyhow, yeah, I've been having a lot going on. But what did I miss? Who fought before?
Yeah, so a long first fight in our 11-12s. Sam, is Sam on your fantasy team? I forget. No. Anyway, Sam loused to Bod in our first match.
Okay, I don't think I have either of them. But
Pretty quick, like 50-ish round fight. They're both using ranged battle and not doing much damage because, of course, Sam's hunking rocks and Bard is only a decent archer, not a great one. So they're going back and forth and missing mostly, and ultimately Bard lands a death stroke and wins.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep. And do you have on your fantasy team Cirdan or Quickbeam? I don't need to ask you about Cirdan, but you don't have Quickbeam, do you?
It's interesting. Cirdan's the only one I actually placed a bid on.
You did? Elf. Yeah.
It was too stupid not to at that point to at least try.
Because someone was going to have to get a good deal on him.
Yeah, I had to compete for it. Of course, didn't get it, but you have to kind of push people to spend theirs, so it was a bit of a strategy. But anyhow, I kind of just sat on my testicles. Sorry.
It does happen. It doesn't happen to Quickbeam. I can't say
I was shifting. Anyways. Yeah. Okay, now talking is hard, but their stats look close, though. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. So I was telling people, Cirdan is kind of your special ops elf, and it'll be interesting to see if he sort of behaves like that. He's going to try to use his Elven Ring Naughty as much as he can. Yeah. Quickbeam, of course, wants to get in there with his gnarled fist and pound on him if he can catch him. So blue line is Quickbeam, green line is Cirdan on the graph here. And the advantages for Quickbeam, real quick. Ferocity, Valor, Striking, Armor. What else? Deflection, he's got better armor, rough bark, and toughness. All right, the advantages for Cirdan. Agility and elusiveness. He must be an elf or something, right? Accuracy and dexterity. Again, very elven. His piercing isn't much better. Why is that? Let's see. So piercing 85. Well, that's the answer. They're both really good at piercing because Quickbeam's chunking boulders.
Yeah.
His accuracy sucks. It's 56. But if he hits you, it's going to crush you at 81, right? So, whereas, Cirdan is using an elven ring here, also with decent accuracy and pretty brutal piercing. So, yeah, he's gonna hang back and try to stick with that ranged attack, which is probably a good strategy. They're going to be using their secondary weapons about 92% of the time, according to the battle engine.
Interesting.
Again, Cirdan is the favorite, probably not by much. Looking at these graphs here, each of them have some pretty convincing advantages. So this is a close projection here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yep, and very different skills. So
yeah, go Quickbeam.
Go Quickbeam. All right. Well, you heard it here first, guys.
Fuck a elf.
Chucky's not an Elves fan. He'll make that clear as the show goes on.
I am elfist or whatever.
Yeah, he's a little elfist over there. That's all right.
It's fine.
Meanwhile, let us fight.
Okay.
In the second fight of the night, we have Cirdan against Quickbeam. Let us fight.
Give him that quick beam.
Forced attack to Quickbeam with the Elven Ring. Misses. Quickbeam comes back. Also misses. And then, what happens? Then we have... Oh, lost my controls. Wait for it. Oh! The first wound with the Elven Ring. Only a slight one. Only a slight one past the crusty bark of the ent. Quickbeam comes back. Missed. Hit, but no damage for the elf. An engagement, but no hit for the ent. A hit! A wound! Heavily hewn!
Bullshit.
Naria. And that Elven Ring doing some early damage here. Advantage to Cirdan. Can Quickbeam even the fight? He's going to need to get in there with his gnarled fists and pound on the little pointy-eared bastard.
Yeah, do that.
Or just whiff!
Ugh.
Miss. Cirdan's forced to use his Falathrine blade. Doesn't go well for him. He misses. A hit! A wound! Only
Oh,
slight
no.
damage.
Not enough.
Nicked him with a boulder. Oh, another wound by Cirdan! Slay!
Yeah.
The Elven Ring makes short work of the int.
Well.
He was not messing around. And Cirdan vanquishes his foe.
So, pretty sure Engine Chief had the ints. I know that much from what I remember.
Let's
from our
show
little
the
draft.
people. So I haven't talked about that yet tonight. We talked about it a little bit last night. So what we've done, guys, is we're running a proof of concept for the next product we really want to roll out here, which is a Middle-earth Fantasy League. So what we've done is all of us founders, not me, but all the other founders, drafted fantasy teams, quite literally. I'll show you. So, if you can you guys see? Can you see this, Chucky? Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is our little quick and dirty fantasy roster here, and we can go ahead and assign points just to show folks who has Sam. I'm just looking for Sam. So he's slain. So I'll just paste this over. That was Sam in the first round. Slain.
Dang. And Quickbeam just got go down. Quickbeam just got slain too.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
Engine Chiefs.
Yeah,
Fuckers.
Engine Chief checking some heat on tonight.
Yeah.
Last night too. He did get a win by Frodo with a bonus point for the upset, so that's something.
Who did Frodo beat?
Frodo slew Ugluk.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, so he vanquished Ugluk. Perfect game too, just beat the snot out of him. Last night was a weird night. There were two perfect games, 100-0.
Wow.
Now they went a decent number of rounds, like 20-something rounds, but no damage. Like,
but then he shoved a sting through his throat or whatever.
Exactly. Yep. Just death shot and over. All right, so those were the two fights tonight. But we're the winners here. So who had Cirdan?
I believe Hanti.
That would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, there he is. So Cirdan, that was not an upset. So he gets 10. And then who am I looking for here? Bard. Who's got Bard?
He's right there, Hanti. 32. Row 32.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll clean this up later if it needs to be. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically everyone. So the scoring is up here in the top right. Yeah, you get your characters. Just if you played in a fantasy sports league, your characters get you points based on wins, right? So if they get a little multiplier if it's an upset here. That's your C differential times the round that you're in. And then the further we go in the tournament, the more points you get. So Hanti, I thought this morning that he had done a perfect game because he had 2 wins. Now he's got 3. But he also had 3 guys get slain. Wait, did I screw up Bart? I screwed this up. My bad. He had 2 guys get slain. That's the last one I did. So I'm going to undo that and give Bard the points instead because he actually won. Zeus. So yeah, Hanti's doing good. He lost Ugluk and Shelob. Otherwise, but he's got 4 wins.
Mm-hmm.
So far, so good for him. So yeah, that's the gist of it.
Yeah, super fun
little proof of concept. But tonight we have the Mordor region on tap. And who is fighting next in the Mordor region? It is going to be Azog against Faramir. Another good one.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's go Azog for some fun. I don't think I have either. I don't have either. So I'm not biased in terms of my characters. So yeah.
What do you think in terms of how this will pan out while I load the fight here?
So kind of against my rooting interest, I think that Faramir will use his range. He did pretty well the last tournament, so
yeah, he did. He slew Smaug.
Yeah, he'll probably handle his business okay here, but yeah, I'm looking for a bit of drama.
This is a really cool one, just based on the lore, I think, because I think, at least to my mind, Faramir strikes me as kind of the Third Age equivalent of Finrod Felagund. Like, you just never meet people that don't like Faramir.
Interesting.
He's just the guy that everyone loves. Like, how can you not like Faramir? He doesn't have any bad qualities, right?
Yeah.
I guess in the movie version, you could say he was kind of indecisive or wishy-washy, and had the daddy problems and everything. But in the book, I think he was like just a stud, super squared away, like ready to rock. And then Azog, if you read, he really wasn't in the stories. He wasn't on the page of The Hobbit. But man, if you read the appendices in the Dwarf Orcs War, the guy was a straight up savage, man, decapitating dwarves and, mounting their heads on spikes and saying, "Come get some," Duke Nukem style, and then retreating into Moria and using like ambush tactics. He was a nasty dude.
Yeah, definitely. Well, should be interesting.
Yeah. So I'll show you the stats real fast before the fight.
I have to mute for a second to help my pup. Hold on.
Go for it. Okay. So while Chucky's scratching his woofer, because that woofer needs a scratch, what are we looking at here? Well, super even fight. This is the first thing that jumps off the screen, right? If you check out the graph, this looks pretty much like a 7 versus 8 matchup, which is exactly what it is. According to the bots, we've got Faramir preferring range combat. Now, Faramir, very even character. He can do a little bit of melee, a little bit of range. He's not elite at either, but just looking at his stats here, his accuracy is very good at 80. His piercing is decent at 69. Nothing elite, of course. He's not an elf. He's a ranger. But decent from ranged and also decent agility. Great valor. Afraid of nothing, this guy. So when he lands wounds, that valor will go toward, how much he can stand and actually deliver a stroke that wounds. And he's going to be very good at that. Weaknesses, magic, spirit, not his strength. Obviously, he's not great at deflection either. He doesn't have great armor. Azog, on the other hand, ultra ferocious. Now, the strength of all orcs is their ferocity, 93. What does ferocity do? Well, great opportunity for a quick reminder. Here are what our Madden stats actually do. I call them Madden stats because I used to play a lot of Madden football games, and that's kind of what inspired this sort of valuing each layer of skills in a matrix here. But for ferocity, which is what orcs are great at, this is going to help them land successful strikes. And when they do, it's going to be 1/3 of the damage they deal as a result of those successful strikes. So orcs are really good at that in melee. Okay. Azog is going to prefer to wield his orcish scimitar and get, close and dirty and do damage that way. Great ferocity, very good agility as well. Decent valor, more than decent valor, good toughness too. Okay. So he's no slouch. Again, kind of the same weaknesses as Faramir, though. Spirit, magic, not going to be his thing. The lines sort of follow each other here across the graph. So, dead even in terms of advantages. I mean, they're very, very even.
Super
Maybe
close.
One of the most even fights we've had so far in the playing round.
Let's go Azog. I don't
Azog?
know why.
You picking Azog or
no. Rooting for him, picking Faramir.
Gotcha. Yep. Sounds good. And I'm Switzerland over here, but if I had a hunch, I kind of like Azog in this one, especially if he can get close and dirty. So
yeah. So she said.
That's exactly what she said. Her being Awen, in fact, right?
Perhaps.
So he'll be thinking about his little sweetheart during this fight. How about that?
Azog?
Yep, upper right. No, not Azog. Faramir.
Oh, I was getting some Game of Thrones vibes from that for a second.
Interesting. Yeah, what do orcs think about muddy, dirty, little bearded chicks?
Yeah, dude, I don't even know if orcs have wieners. I'm not really sure how any of that works.
I don't really think they do. I think they're just kind of bred by evil, or they spawn like plants. That's one of those. That's one of those parts of the lore that call me weird. I've never been interested in exploring. So
yeah, who cares?
Evil makes orcs, and they're perverted versions of elves, twisted versions, mangled versions, mutant versions of elves. Good enough for me.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, let us fight, shall we? Let's see who can prove us wrong here. It'd be cool to see Faramir prove me wrong anyway, but
yeah.
Let's find out. For the third fight of the evening, we have Faramir of Gondor and Ithilien against Azog, the Defiler of Gundabad. Let us fight. First attack to Faramir from range. Hits, but does no damage. Azog comes back and misses with his scimitar. Miss by Faramir. A hit, but no damage by Azog. Blows are flying. The first damaging wound is only a slight one by Azog. Slight lead through 6 rounds. Faramir fires again, misses. Azog comes back, engages, but can't hit. A hit by Faramir, no damage. Azog comes back, can't engage. A hit and a wound! Slight smite with the bow of Ithilien by the Ranger of Gondor. So, through 10-ish rounds, 11 rounds, advantage, about 20-point advantage to Faramir. Can Azog even the fight? A hit! A wound!
Wow.
Heavily!
Wow.
Right on command. He evens the fight and takes the lead. That Orchid Scimitar doing some damage. Now, can Faramir come back? Miss. And a miss by the Orc. An engagement, but miss again by Faramir. And they're dancing. Back and forth. Back and forth. A hit and a wound by Faramir. Ooh, evens the fight. 20 damage. Great fight so far, with only a slight advantage for Azog through 20 rounds. Back and forth they go. Another hit. Slight damage with the bow.
Interesting.
Azog comes back. A blow.
Yeah!
Previously slain.
Let's go.
Azog pulls the upset.
Fine.
Hey, we should have bet money on that one.
Someone did, kinda.
Someone did. Good fight there, man. That's what we want to see. That was solid. Good action. But in the end, it is the Defiler with the victory over the Ranger of Ithilien. So, looking at the bracket, what does it mean, you might ask?
Death.
Death. Yeah, so it looks like Azog, he takes down Faramir. He's going to advance to take on Aragorn.
Oh,
No big deal.
sorry, Azog.
Yeah, not going to be a fun one there. But he fought well in that one, so he's got a chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cirdan in that first one defeated Quickbeam, and he'll go on to take on Gwaihir.
That'll be interesting.
That will be. Yeah, two characters you'd never expect to fight, but
Heck his eyeballs out, Gwaihir.
Exactly. Yeah, he'll have some pecking cut out for him.
And then throw up the eyeballs back in his eye sockets or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Patty Man, welcome to the fight.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey.
Perfect
What's up?
timing, because we were just catching folks up on the action thus far, and that would be Bard over Samwise in a decent fight in the first round. The long fight. They were going back and forth and from range, actually, and not doing much damage, as you'd expect with those two. And then in the end, Bard lands enough arrows in Sam to win. He'll go on to face Sauron in the second round. Good luck with that.
Sam the pincushion.
Yeah, pincushioned him. And then second fight, we had Cirdan against Quickbeam. Cirdan wins that one actually pretty decisively. I think Quickbeam, it wasn't 100-0 like we were seeing before, but it was a decisive win for Cirdan. And then in a really good fight, we just finished. Azog got the better of Faramir, and he will advance to take on Aragorn. So that's where we're at. Our last fight of the night is already upon us, and it is. It's a cool one, and one that Chucky has a rooting interest in, a vested rooting interest.
Yeah, I love
Armor
those
Maggot
guys
against Prince Imrahil. Two very cool characters from the lore. So say what you guys are going to say while I pull up this fight for the good folks out there.
Summon your doggies early, Farmer Maggot. Summon your doggies and send them after this prince from Dol Amroth.
Grip,
Fancy
Fang, and Wolf.
Yeah. Fancy prince thinks he can just trot on over here with his fancy armor and his cool looking cape.
Yep. All the way up from his little island beach house.
Yeah, which is actually pretty. I really do love both.
Yeah, these are two really cool characters, right? Going back to the early 2000s when the movies came out, was a little disappointed that Imrahil wasn't in the movie, really. That was a bummer. And I don't know. They would say, oh, he was there in the background and he might have had one line.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what does it mean? It's funny, we just referenced that a couple minute ago. You said, "What does it mean?" And I was like, "Death." Yeah. Do you remember in the theater?
I totally do.
Yeah, because he's there with Pippin is there with Gandalf, and Imrahil rides in. I suppose with Faramir whenever they're escaping Osgiliath, I think, something like that. Anyways, he rides in there in the gates of Minas Tirith, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't the first Hobbit that has crossed your path." And but then later they're talking about Cútaethungel, and
Smeagol's going to lead him up the path of Cútaethungel.
yeah, and anyways, Pippin turns to Gandalf, and he's like, "What does it mean?" And I'm pretty sure there's a cutscene right there, and it goes kind of quiet in the movie, and Pippin goes, "What does it mean?" It all goes quiet, and Adam goes, "Death," in the theater. It was
great.
Just one of those moments. It's hard to.
Death.
Anyways, very funny.
Great movement. But then when the special editions came out, I was thinking, wait, if that's Imrahil, because in the pause, and plus, we saw that movie like, I don't know, not as much as the Two Towers, but we saw Return of the King at least 5 times in the theaters.
Yeah.
And I want to say we saw Two Towers just because of all the life stuff going on that winter, probably a dozen times.
Yeah.
And this was back when movies cost $6, so it wasn't a big deal. But Return of the King, I remember, when the special editions came out, I was in Lawrence, Kansas. I was still going to school at college. And I had to drive to Best Buy to get the special edition DVDs, bring them home.
Yeah.
And they do remark on it. Like Peter Jackson was like, well, we got a lot. I won't try to do the Kiwi accent, but we got a lot of feedback, Prince Imrahil he was in the movie, you guys. He was just this guy, and then they show him. But then I'm looking at the character, like in the credits at the end. I'm watching for it, and that actor is an extra. He's an extra with a line. He doesn't have a name, Imrahil. The name Imrahil does not show up. So it's one of those arguable ones. He's like, trying to say after the fact, oh, this Gondor guy was Imrahil. Okay, I guess. But then why didn't you call him Imrahil in the credits? It's weird.
Yeah. Also, he had like total Minas Tirith armor on. It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't
special.
Dol Amroth-y at
no
all.
Swans. Right?
Yeah, no swans. They missed out on the whole southern,
dude.
The whole southern region, really. I mean, obviously they brought the Mumakil up, and that was cool, especially at the time. That that was part of why they got the Academy Awards, at least for visuals, because they did such a good job for whatever that was, 2004. But yeah, the Easterlings especially missed out so much on that.
And that's some bullcrap too, because they tease it. So it's blue balls. I got Easterlings blue balls.
Yeah, because they're marching.
Yeah, dude, they're marching into Mordor, about to participate in the war, and then they don't show up. Now, again, in the extended editions, he says it was a cut scene that didn't even make the extended editions. They were supposed to be at Morannon, right? They were supposed to be in the Battle of Morannon, but they got cut along with most of the Mouth of Sauron stuff. So that's fair enough, I think. Supposedly there is some footage out there with the Easterlings participating at Morannon. So
yeah, well, I don't know,
but we didn't see it.
So. I remember from the book, I remember a lot more of it being. I don't know if I had to guess, maybe it was the Siege of Minas Tirith was about 60% orc.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
About 40% other man, maybe, I don't know, 25% of that, and then like beast and other nonsense. But still, yeah, that's whatever. Rabbit hole there, but it is kind of annoying. But who knows? Anyways, yeah, the
Executioner says bun farmer Maggot. Yeah, I got nothing. I think he's either bragging because he's got the most fantasy points. I can't tell if he's talking smack or not, but turns Bane out on all digital platforms, bruv. Okay. Thank you, Manchicution. Your fantasy team is doing pretty awesome, dude. I think you only got 2 guys out. And I think you got something like 42 points. So far, so good. All right. Patty Man, I don't know if you're able to join us, but I'll ask you guys for any thoughts you have before the last fight of the evening. How do you see this one going?
I don't know. I don't see Farmer Maggot as a real threat.
Yeah, I'll
So,
show you
Imrahil.
why he might be, actually, because that's fair if you haven't seen the stats, but... All right, baby girl, your time has passed. Faramir is slain. So go back to the houses of healing. Okay. Yeah, so now we can see. Eowyn was in the way. We moved her. Okay, so Farmer Maggot, look at his advantages here. He's the green line on the graph. It's going to be his ranged attack, which is Grip, Fang, and Wolf. His dogs. He calls the dogs on you, just like he did the Nazgul, right? And he really did with the hobbits, too, when he didn't know who they were yet. And so, again, that's a ranged attack. It's not super accurate.
Hell yeah,
if they
let's
get
go ups.
They get you. It's 85 It's 85 piercing, which is up there with the very, not quite elite, but some of the very best range attacks piercing wise. He's also got solid valor, decent elusiveness, decent dexterity, and he pretty much sucks at everything else because he's a hobbit. Again,
Yeah.
you know, you're not supposed to shine at things like armor, deflection when you're a hobbit, spirit, right? Magic, that's not their thing. And plus, he doesn't have any fancy gear like some of the other hobbits that get a stat boost from some of those elven trinkets like Frodo has, for example.
He just has a pitchfork and dogs.
That's all you need. That's all you need. You're living in the Shire, even if you're, you know, sort of the unofficial warden of the East Farthing, and you're a little bit. And see, this is something so underrated about Tolkien's work. I think is he really plays up the regional rivalries across England with the hobbits, right? Like the oh man, I'm not super familiar with the soccer rivalries, but I know they exist in like the Premier League.
Yeah.
But it's totally like these rivalries that exist between Man U fans and Birmingham fans, or Manchester fans and the London teams like Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
There's all those regional rivalries still burning pretty hot. And, you know, as you know from shows like Game of Thrones, they sound completely different. Some of these people on that one freaking island, you got 2 people that are barely speaking the same language.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of that way with hobbits. Like you have Maggot out there on the eastern fringe of the Shire by the hedge, almost to the bloody old forest, right? And he's totally different than the people in Hobbiton. And he's sort of this like roguish outlander who's only friends with Bucklanders. And so he takes quickly to Merry, and Merry is the guy who, you know, talks him into helping him because he's a Bucklander and he knows everyone out there.
Right.
Cool stuff. Talent-wise, they're pretty even here. Look, as we said earlier, you know, everyone, that's what's cool about this play-in round is it's a whole round of very evenly matched dudes squaring off to, you know, to try to advance. What else jumps out to you guys?
Not a whole lot. Another close one. Just excited for it.
What say you, Patty Man?
Is Imrahil mounted? Or is he on foot?
No. So, yeah, that's another. The stats do not factor in the fact that he's on a mount. So, no. No is your answer. Him and Éomer and Theoden, you know, guys that really should be mounted, they just, we're not doing that in this game. I think it'd be too much of an advantage and too hard to bake into the stats as we have them here. So,
I think I still give it to Imrahil.
yeah. He's got the advantage on armor for sure. He's got, you know, a couple decent advantages here, but man, it's close. I think, look, what this one's going to come down to, guys, is how many blows can Maggot land with his ranged attack, sicking Grip, Fang, and Wolf on the enemy here. So,
Bite his dick off.
Yeah, get super aggressive with it. Hopefully he's got one of those medieval cups. That'd be handy, especially if you're on horseback.
I was just gonna say it's probably armored, knowing him.
It needs to be.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Last fight of the night, guys. Are we ready?
Okay.
Let us fight. But nothing happened. Well, that's because I hit the wrong button. Let's try this again. Let us fight. In the final fight of the second night of the play-in round, we have Farmer Maggot against Imrahil of Dol Amroth. Let us fight. First attack. It's a ranged attack.
Yes!
With his wolves and automatically does damage. Great start by Maggot. That's what he needed. Now, can Imrahil come back? With the Lance of Dol Amroth, he misses. Maggot, again, hits. Fails to penetrate. Imrahil strikes a wound. Very little damage. Maggot comes back. The wolves are circling. The wolves. The dogs. The hounds are circling.
Yeah.
No damage. No damage back and forth. And they're dancing a little bit.
Let's go, pups. Come on, pups.
A hit!
Pups.
Another wound!
Yeah!
Strikes right! He is no match for the woofers of Maggot. But you're never out of the fight. Let's see if Imrahil has got an ace in the hole, something up his sleeve here.
Why is he using a lance on foot? That's interesting. Yes,
Tink.
let's go. Still a minor. Oh,
A
no.
wound! Only minor damage.
He's very
The Knight
shifty.
of Dol Amroth. Very shifty
The
hobbit.
dogs come barking up. They're like, go away, go away.
Yeah. Back and forth they go. Another hit!
Yeah!
Another strike by the hounds. The hounds, highly effective in battle. Now, this is it for Imrahil. Last chance. In the next few rounds, he's got to do some damage here. It's over. A hit! No damage. Not going to do it. The hounds miss. The door is still open. But Imrahil cannot score a hit.
Come on.
Neither can Maggot. A hit by Imrahil! A heavily hewn blow with the Lance of Dol Amroth.
Sketchy. It's getting sketchy.
It's getting sketchy. The comeback is underway. Can Maggot finish the fight with his wolves? He engages but cannot do any damage.
Run
Back
away,
to
run
Imrahil.
away, run away, run away.
Engage but no hit. Hits! Wounds!
Yeah!
Slay!
Let's go.
Farmer Maggot wins with the upset. 11 points for Chucky's fantasy team.
Cool.
Maggot.
Good. Who does
Love
he play
it.
next?
Love it for him. Cool character. Sorry?
Excuse me. I'm eating some chili. Who does he play next?
Oh, I was going to go here first. We'll check in just a sec.
Okay.
So, Farmer Maggot, let's see. 11 points because he's got the upset. So 1 times 1 is 1. That's your seed, upset bonus there.
Yeah.
It gets juicier as we progress, like all this stuff does. 21 for Chucky. He's in second place behind Haunty with 41.
Yeah, but who had Imrahil? Was it Haunty? Is that why he was talking shit?
That was why he was talking shit. Yeah. So good point. So Imrahil slain.
Good. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Imrahil is gone. So Haunty's roster is still pretty big. He's got plenty of dudes anyway. But yeah. Really cool stuff. Of course, this is all still anyone's fight. But interesting to check in on.
Yeah, because those later round victories get you so many points.
They're super valuable. And that's why someone like Josh or Campy, who only has 4 dudes, if Sauron or if Gandalf goes all the way, then they're doing just fine. It's gonna be hard to beat them.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but hard. So, Chucky, you mentioned, okay, so who does everyone play next? And we will end the show with a little bracket preview and recap here. So, Farmer Maggot will advance to take on Glorfindel.
Oh, that's an uphill battle.
That one sucks.
You know what?
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yeah. We might.
Ruin
So,
all
dude,
of
There's a
Hunt's
chance.
Totally there's a chance. Because you see what, like 85 piercing on a ranged attack with those dogs? That's a hell of a power move.
Elves are scared of dogs.
Dude, just think about what Beleg did in the whole last tournament. For those watching that don't recall or missed the last tournament, Beleg was a 9 seed, I want to say, who went to the Final Four. And mostly on the strength of, I mean, he's probably the best archer in the game. So there's that. He's an elven archer from the first stage, from Doriath, from Menegroth. So he is a beast with that bow. But the numbers weren't too different. Like, I think his piercing with that bow was 90-ish. Maggot's piercing with his dogs is 85. So in terms of the battle engine, in terms of the numbers, that's the kind of character that can make a run. Now, the difference is the accuracy, right? The accuracy for Maggot isn't like Beleg. I think Beleg was like 90 and 90 with the accuracy and the piercing, right?
Yeah.
But if he lands a blow with those dogs on his ranged attack, he's going to be doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
So sets up a
Hey,
cool.
I haven't had anybody die yet, so I'm just happy about that.
Hey, yeah,
100% for the guys I've had fight.
There you go.
Which is only 2 people, I believe. One last night and one tonight, but still.
Yeah. Still. So that wraps up our fights for tonight, guys. But looking ahead to Saturday and Sunday, we're gonna be fighting it out in the Isengard region with Bilbo against Merry. Little Hobbit on Hobbit crime there, followed by Landroval against Elrohir. That should be a cool one.
Mm-hmm.
Then, so Landroval, of course, being the little bro of Gwaihir, who is a new character here in the field for this tournament, as is Elrohir, the other twin brother, the less emo brother.
Yeah.
A little better from range than the other half
Still
elven.
pretty emo, though. He looks pretty sad, boy.
Yeah, true. It's a tough life out there on the range, you know? Being one of the great company and doing Dunedain stuff.
Yeah.
I guess. It's a thankless job, right? They protect the Shire and no one knows about them.
They're gray boys.
So we've got one from the actual lore, which is Bolg against Thorin. These two squared off at the Battle of Five Armies, and Bolg slew Thorin and then gets ripped apart by Bjorn. So that's how that went.
Yep.
But maybe it'll go differently in this one. And then last fight of the night, we got... Oh, this is a cool one, too. Gorbag against Glowing. Gimli's dad.
Glowing? I don't know. I have maybe. Yeah, I think I got that. I think he was the last pick in the whole draft, which
I think he was. And someone got a hell of a deal on him. Was that you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
$7 or something like that.
Gimli's pops. He looks ready to rock. He's got a war hammer.
Yeah, he's hot.
He managed to find some chainmail somewhere, even being outcast from Erebor.
What the?
Cool character. So is Gorbag, though, the old whorebag. We made him. We sort of just went all in on the Warcraft vibes with this guy. But honestly, those are some of my favorite orcs, so I'm good with it. Captain of Kirith Ungo. So yeah, that's for tomorrow night. Last thoughts before we wrap, gentlemen. The floor is yours. Drop those comments in if you're watching. Let's now we got to.
Maybe I should have got some lower seed mans.
Patty Man, who else did you lose besides the Watcher?
That's the only one I've lost so far.
You're good. I mean, yeah, that Watcher, it would have been nice for a victory on and any of those 5-6 ones. You know, you're always hoping for. Asna. Oh, yeah. Magicianer saying go Imrahil. Too late on that one.
There's a bit of delay on that thing.
Yeah, no sweat. He's about to board a flight. Yeah, good point. You know, if Glowin was knighted, then he'd make a decent meal. Sir Glowin. Exactly. It sounds like one of those knights. So anyway, yeah, all good things, guys. Tomorrow night should be pretty juicy, though. These are all good fights.
Rather juicy than now, hey?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I have important business to attend to. It is NHL playoff hockey. It's been a very long week here, so I'm gonna go do that. But very fun. Another night of Mem. So good stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. Sirloin. See what you did there. Magicianer. Yeah. Well done. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. As always, do the thing with the promotion stuff, if you would, if you don't mind. That would be a help to all of us because, you know, this is all free. You're not paying anything. We're not making any money. But the value here is we can then better inform you about the stuff in the future that's coming down the pipe, which is the proverbial pipe is loaded with good stuff. So we need the time and the money to build all the stuff that we have in mind. One of which you're getting a sneak preview of with us on these streams. So tell your friends, get them streaming too. And they will get an idea of all the things to come and hopefully, ideally, be entertained in the process. So thanks everyone who spent their time with us tonight, tuning in and last night as well. And with that, until the next battle, remember, as Professor Tolkien says, you can only come to the morning through the shadows. And where there is life, there is always hope. You are never out of the fight.